And at the time, it seemed like it was kind of controversial, but today it seems to be like a no-brainer. We know from very credible research that diet induces weight loss to a greater degree than exercise does, especially if you're a person that is deconditioned, hasn't trained. You're lucky you're going to burn 100 calories on a treadmill, which is about a mile, and you do that 3 to 5 times a week. That's a 500-calorie deficit dent in your overall total week of calories that you're consuming. So you're not going to see a lot of weight loss doing that. If you do it over time and you keep increasing your caloric expenditure, yes, you will see changes, but not until you get to the high levels of burning a lot of calories, and most people drop out before that because they get discouraged. So we know that we can take away 500 calories easier than we can actually burn them off for the average person. So doing diet in a respectable, in a more conservative way will induce the weight loss, but keep the weight off. It's exercise that's going to keep the weight off. So in my study, in my review of literature, I found a lot of proof, or not proof, but evidence that you definitely can, if you increase your lean body mass through strength training, and that takes time. It's not just over 3 months. A lot of studies don't show that you increase your lean body mass. It takes a while, like a good year, to see serious increases in your lean body mass, and that's being faithful over 6 months to a year of doing strength training. And you can see changes in your metabolic rate, which is going to have the most profound effects on your metabolism and on just burning calories throughout the day. So I think the best diet to follow, it's on my website, here comes a commercial, on coreessentials.biz, and if you go to articles and scroll down, and we're going to have, it'll say something like dietary exchange lists. And these things have been around for years. And the way I set this up, I mean, it's not something I designed. It's something that registered dietitians have had for years, originally for diabetics. But it's grouped in several exchanges. There's a, fruits exchange, vegetables exchange, a milk exchange, fats exchange, meat exchange, and so forth. And you want to take a little bit out of each group. And the way I have it set up is that it's in about 40% carbohydrates, 30% protein, and 30% fat. And I try to encourage the reader to take in more of the fibrous, rich type carbohydrates rather than the starchy ones. The white ones are probably not as good than the ones that have color, as Dr. Sears has said on our previous shows that we've had when we interviewed him, which makes a lot of sense. And we won't get into the glycemic index or glycemic load, but basically you want to have foods that are more fibrous rich, that have more fiber in them. Those are the better carbohydrates than the ones that just junk, white flour and that type of stuff. So having that, and you can read through that on the dietary exchange list that I have, like I mentioned, on coreessentials.biz. That's the diet aspect of it. And again, you want to try to eat smaller meals. Bodybuilders been doing this for years. I've actually worked out for many years, and in the 80s, I was a lot more bigger, and I was more into bodybuilding, and we had a little statement that we used to always say in the gym. We want to have like 20 to 30 grams every 3 or 4 hours of protein. It's like a protein drip, like an IV. You just basically take it in every 3 to 4 hours. We want to take that in, and again, we want to take in around. If you're an exercising individual with heavy strength training, you want to take in at least 1 to 1.2 grams of protein per day. 1 to 1.2 grams per kilogram of your body weight per day. So if you just take your weight and you divide it by 2.2, that's how you get to your kilograms. And so you want to take in that amount of protein per day if you're an exercising individual. And again, strength training. Before you do any type of changing in your diet or your exercise habits, you want to obviously talk to your physician before you do that. So that's the diet portion of it. And it explains it on that dietary exchange list. The exercise, I'll get into cardio first. The cardio portion of it I see a lot of people in the gym, and they get on some, like a treadmill or a bike, and they get the newspaper out, and they're reading, and they're going around the same revolution, or they're walking the same miles per hour, and I don't see any real change in any of the variables, either the grade that they're walking if they're on a treadmill, the speed. I see the same thing occurring over time, and there's a concept in physiology called the overload principle, which basically states that if you stress a system with enough frequency, volume, and intensity,